I had a very profound and hyper-real visitation by my guardian angel. I've since named her Angie. Mind you, I don't know her real name, but I got the impression they don't have names as we know them. She accepted my referring to her with the name Angie during the encounter instead of a generic term like angel. It started Saturday evening, 2 or 3 weeks ago, in mid-February 2018. I was working to help my sister through some rough spiritual issues that were going on a few months prior to this experience. That Saturday evening before she left, she told me that she felt that she was really going to be okay after talking with me all of that day. I went upstairs to watch a movie but got a strong suggestion to just go to bed early. Following the hunch, I turned off the movie. Then I took some Tylenol for a headache that I felt was coming on. I heard a distinct, soothing female voice tell me, "You're not going to need that tonight." So I put the medicine away and went to bed. When I laid on my pillow, the most beautiful female voice I ever heard came to me again. She said, "I have a small gift for you tonight." At this point, I brushed her off saying, "Yeah, right. What kind of gift can you give to me? I must be extremely tired, because now I'm hearing things and talking to myself." She then responded that she would let me sleep for 4 hours, but that she would be back for me. I agreed, and told her that was fine. I just wanted to sleep, and didn't believe I was actually talking to anyone. It was 8 p.m. at the time, and I fell asleep fast. The strange thing was being aware of her before sleep. As I went to sleep, she was still there in my mind's eye, standing nearby. She was in front of a large gateway filled with gray light with a mist rolling around its edges. She was smiling and watching me. I thought that it was unusual to have a figment of my imagination do that. But, oh well. I was tired and slipped into a gentle darkness. The next thing I saw and felt was my figment of imagination coming back. She reached over and gently grabbed me under my arms while she lifted me out of bed. When this sight sensation happened, I had a wonderful feeling that went through my body and down my spine. I knew something about this dream was different. I felt, what later I can only guess, was unconditional love and other positive feelings or sensations that words cannot convey and that I had never felt before. I told her that I must be having a lucid dream. She smiled and said, "It's not a dream, hun." I then exclaimed, "Sure it is. These are really realistic. I read all about them, but I don't get these too often." She then said again, "You're not dreaming, and when I put you back, you will know it's not a dream." Then another level of heightened awareness came to me in another wave as she held me. I told her, "I must be dead. Somewhere my body is choking to death or I stopped breathing." She reassured me that my body was fine. To ease my anxiety, she let me see it peacefully lying in my bed. The time I noted from my clock by my body was 12:10 a.m. I then doubted what she was and asked, "Are you really an angel or something else? Can you prove to me what you are?" She smiled and told me that this was common from the earthly perspective. There, doubts exist. So, she took my hand and we went to a higher space. As we moved, something even more extraordinary happened. Suddenly I had no doubts. I didn't have any other negative emotions or thoughts because it was not possible to think of such things. All of the laws, rules, and conventions of mankind had vanished. At this point, the word bliss does not convey or come close to explaining what I experienced. She smiled and said that all I was feeling was a small taste of the love he has for me, and all of us. This encounter lasted for over 4 hours. She told me many deep, private, and meaningful things about myself, about humanity, and how we are all the same and made of his light. She said she was made of the same light as we all are, that we are all creation of him. She told me this was my reward, for searching for him and for his truth. She was so happy for me that I had gotten so far in my own determined search. She was glad that I had the presence of mind to ask him for assistance to help me in discerning the truth, with the piles of ancient papers, books, and modern references I had read and collected for years looking for my own answers. When I looked at her, I thought to myself, if ancient man had seen something like this, is this how religion got started? Would they consider her a god? She immediately read my thoughts and gave me the message I was not to worship her. She was an emissary of our Creator, sent to help me on my own unique spiritual path. I was allowed to be thankful he had given me such powerful help in my quest. I was assured that Angie really did exist. She told me all of this was happening because I deliberately went on my own path to find him. She showed me how years ago I had discarded my old music tastes. I then learned to listen and appreciate music that was inspired from a higher level of consciousness. This was music that didn't hurt the spirit and mind with negative messages or discord. I had also stopped watching movie and show material that pandered to the lowest common denominator. I avoided the temptations of drugs and alcohol. I had engaged in self-sacrifice to care for others. I did not get involved in relationships that did not have true love at its core. I would repeatedly deny my base human nature for high ideals and standards that I achieved for myself and expected of others. That because I had deliberately reached out to him, he came halfway to meet me. This was despite the difficulties and distractions of Earth at this time. My mission was to encounter and hear the divine. She told me that I did the right thing when helping my sister. When I was confused or had doubts, I prayed directly to him for guidance to find the words to help when I needed his help. I had asked for him to be in my life, to have my guardian angel involved in my life, to be able to hear them easier to do the right thing and make better choices that help others. She affirmed that he heard every thought I ever had. She told me that there was no shame in having a human experience or being a human being. Please bear in mind that while she told me these things, she gave me very clear images of examples from my life to help clarify the meaning. She showed me how she was with me from the beginning and how she helped me in childhood when I was frightened or had nightmares, or made difficult moral choices in life. She had shown me all the beings, heroes and archetypes that she was in my dreams over the years to help allay my fears and guide me in a positive direction. At some point I had told her that I did not want to go back. This was more than everything I could imagine or hope to be real. She told me I had to go back. She said that she only had a certain amount of time to show me things, that I was doing important work and was an important part of his plan. I was shown how sad people would be if I left that night. Even the smallest kind gesture to others ripples through to soften hearts. I am where I'm supposed to be with the people I'm supposed to be with. Words and thoughts have power, and that keeping in a positive frame of mind and speaking politely was important, despite being faced with the negativity and ignorance of others. She told me that I was perfect as he saw me. She said that I was too hard on myself many times, when in reality we learn lessons on Earth, and making mistakes was part of the learning process. That this human form was for a specific purpose to interact in this world, to do the jobs and roles he chose us for. All things are for a purpose. From our small perspective, we can't see the end result, but that it was worth it, and something beautiful in the end. Time had no meaning. I could have been there for 1,000 years or 10 minutes. The love was so overwhelming that I had forgotten about material things, or the illusion that time was. I was shown various material objects that I had wanted throughout my life, but that I did not care about any of them while here with her. Someone could have offered a planet for me to rule over, but I did not want it. That love was enough. I could have existed on the love alone. She showed me all the times in my life where someone had hurt me. There were thousands of instances of pain, some long forgotten but now were shown to me in vivid detail. She asked me if I was able to forgive. I was able to forgive them all from the perspective I was seeing it from. She smiled when I forgave everyone, saying that this is the biggest thing one could do to go against their base nature instead of perpetuating pain upon others. Because we are all part of him, we only hurt ourselves when we hurt others. There really was so much more. Most of the encounter and talk took place on a beautiful alien planet. The landscape had with a 500-foot tall tree and an open plains. There was a river and beautiful storm in the background with violet lightning. There were many strange, beautiful plants and insects, the likes I've never seen anywhere. She said we could explore this world someday. It had a thick atmosphere but low gravity. Angie was 15 feet tall, beautiful and stunning to my eyes. Her eye color was gold, and they emitted light like the sunrise. There was not a negative tone to her speech, or to any feelings she expressed, or any negativity to anything I felt. Her speech was far more eloquent than I could ever attempt to imitate. She also emitted a soft, light-glowing hue from behind her. I was given the impression she could appear as anything to convince me of her status to convey messages from our Creator. She was going to put me back in my body at 4 a.m., but I begged for an extension. I saw her look back over her shoulder toward the green sky. Someone seemed to be talking to her, but I didn't hear anything. She then turned back toward me and said, I could have 30 minutes, but no more than that. In that time, She showed me that love was actually like a physical force, like gravity, electrons or photons of light, and that they pass through all times, places, and dimensions as they are actually a part of him in everything. When she put me back, I felt like I was putting on a heavy, tight diving suit. 2 loud knocks on the bedroom door snapped me awake to remember everything vividly. I felt like I weighed a single pound. This feeling of unnatural peace, being lightweight, and feeling loved persisted for 12 hours that Sunday. I also had the sensation that I was physically held at some point, as in my dream. When I sat up in bed, she then instructed me to get up and start my Sunday by washing everyone's clothes to help my grandparents. The humor was not lost on me as I pulled clothes from the dryer. One moment I was in another dimension on an alien planet with a being of unimaginable intelligence, and Grace being told the most profound secrets of the universe. The next minute I was folding boring clothes to put in a boring basket for boring work tomorrow in a mundane world. I got the impression she would visit other times in my future, and that I had made a promise to follow her as my personal teacher to help me get closer to our Creator. That does it for today's video. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment below.